back to Business and Politics. We're talking to Dr. Von Einsiedelel, or Dinky, as expert in smart cities. Sir, one of the major components of having smart cities is really addressing the quality of life of the residents in the area, right, or urban centers. And I suppose, and correct me if I'm wrong, housing is an important aspect of that.
Yes.
Can you talk about, the smart cities and how it addresses, quality of life and affordable quality housing? Is there a convergence there, or are these? What is the relationship between these?
Well, housing is, of course, one of the major issues, or it's actually considered one of the basic needs. And it's a major problem in the Philippines, as you probably know.
Sure.
The housing backlog is at 6.5 million and exponentially growing.
Right.
And the problem is that when you talk of housing, you cannot disassociate it with land.
Okay.
Okay? Because you need the land where the houses are to be built.
Right.
Okay? And what makes housing unaffordable to many is because land is included in the pricing.
I see.
Okay? Now, what if you don't sell the land?
I see.
Like what we did in Bliss before.
Okay.
Bliss is long-term lease.
Okay.
Okay? The land, the value of the land is not added to the monthly payments of the residents. Okay? So it gives government the flexibility of adjusting the monthly payments by the people who live in the place.
I see.
By not inputting the value of land. This has been done not only in Bliss, but has been done in Valenzuela.
Okay.
In what is now known or referred to as Disciplina Village.
Okay.
Which was initiated by now Senator Sherwin Gatchalian.
Okay.
And continued on by his brother Rex.
Right.
And they've expanded it, they've added more units, etc. I mean, can you imagine? They're only charging 300 pesos a month.
Wow.
Per unit.
Wow.
No? Because they did not input the value of the land to the monthly payments of the beneficiaries.
I see.
Now, how does smart cities or smart city technology help in this? Okay. Monitoring who needs housing. Okay. There is we need to do a socioeconomic survey of who are the residents who are really in need of housing.
I see.
Okay. Because if you don't have the kind of systematic database, it's so easy for anybody to say, I need housing. But, you need to check it. And before it used to be done manually.
Okay.
Now it can be done using drones, for example. You can check on blighted areas, on slum areas.
Right.
And also you can check on, if you're going to build new buildings, you want to make sure it will not be on flood-prone areas or disaster-prone areas.
Right.
So the use of smart city technology can assist a lot also in identifying where are the lands that are available where you can build housing, which are near to jobs.
Right.
So that kind of a correlation, because the problem with the housing program in the past, the relocation to Cavite, to Montalban, etc. I mean, these are places that are too far from where employment and livelihood opportunities are. That's why people don't like going to these places.
Right.
And that's why you had that kadamay problem of the people,
appropriating.
Yes. So, the use of smart city technology could assist and facilitate the proper kind of an approach to the problem.
That's so interesting because, there's a smart city component of it, but there's also just basic policy making. You mentioned, do you sell it? Do you rent it? I mean, that's that doesn't require technology.
That's right.
And I was wondering, you mentioned the informal settlers, but even middle income people living or working in the metro area, because I guess land is so expensive within the metropolitan area, they go to maybe Bulacan or Cavite, Laguna. But, this becomes expensive, especially when you have skyways or tollways that, seem to, discourage you from living far away, because there's a transportation cost now just to go back to where do we go wrong? I mean,
you probably have heard of the 15-minute city.
Okay. Yes.
This something that was initiated in Paris by Mayor Anne Hidalgo, Mayor of Paris, where she adopted this policy that you can access the essential services that each household needs within a 15-minute walk, bicycle ride, or public transport. Okay. It's become quite popular among architects, and in fact, even now some mayors talk about it, and they want to adopt the system. But this is not really new. In urban planning, the idea of a neighborhood that's complete, that provides the essential services that a household needs, it's an old idea. Okay, and there has been a number of books that have written about it, and the thing is, you need to relate transport with land use. Okay. So housing or residential development is one of the land uses that you need to incorporate. Now we are building the North-South Commuter Railway. Okay. And phase 1 is going to open soon. Okay. Between Clark and Divisoria, there are something like 20 stations. Okay. Now you can imagine if we had affordable housing in each of these stations, a vendor in Divisoria can live in Malolos, where it's cheaper to own a unit rather than some crowded little dingy place in Divisoria, and be in Divisoria in 25 minutes. Wow. So, there are these opportunities that are coming up, which we need to take advantage of. So I understand that the DOTR has been promoting the concept of transit-oriented development, or TOD. Which blends transport, public transport, with land use. I see. And a more efficient use of the land. Now, the challenge is being able to put in affordable housing within a walking distance of the station. Because the word has already gone out that this commuter train is going to start operating soon. The land values have gone
speculators
up.
Now buying.
Speculators have come in, and so the land values have gone up. Now, whether it is still affordable to put up housing, it's now a big question mark. So government needs to move fast if it wants to really be able to use that opportunity to build affordable housing.
Do you think there's still a chance for an urban area like Metro Manila to do these things that we're talking about, or should we start over? I mean, you mentioned Clark. I mean, the private sector is looking at township developments outside, which would have that 15-minute walking feature to it. Is that the solution, or you still have hope for Metro Manila?
Well, I think it can be done. It might be difficult in certain areas, but I think it can be done, because a city is an ever, it's a dynamic place.
I see.
There are new opportunities that come up. And there is such a thing as urban redevelopment.
I see.
Because for whatever reason, certain parts of the city deteriorates. And that's why there is such a thing. It's natural. And that's why there is such a thing as, like a human body. You discover some part of your body needs something, so you take some vitamins to do something about that problem. So similarly, in a city, when a particular district deteriorates and the revenue, the quality of life in that place goes down, it requires a redevelopment
I
effort,
see.
a revitalization effort.
Does that apply also to what we started with, as housing? Is that something that is not a lost cause?
Well, you know, when you want to generate better business,
Right.
retail in a particular place, there
You
is
have to
no
have people.
substitute. You need to have residential development.
I see.
Because that's what's going to populate, and you'll have a 24/7 kind of a market
Right.
for whatever retail facilities you put in. So it cannot just be totally retail.
Right,
no?
right.
You have to have residential development as well.
Right.
So the thing is, it requires a certain degree of, I guess, political will is
Sure.
the term for it.
Sure.
Because, it's always difficult to introduce something new when people get used to the way certain things are done and the way certain things are.
Sure.
And so when you want to modernize, there is a tendency to resist that kind of, like for example, you want to build affordable housing, but you don't have government-owned land.
Okay.
Okay? So what do you do? Okay? But a local government may own a public market,
I see.
and the public market is only one floor.
I
What
see.
do you do with the
rest of
with the
vertical space? Yeah.
vertical space?
Yeah.
So you can actually build a multi-story building with a public market on the ground floor and use the upper floors for your housing. Okay? So now whether that's being done, it requires a little bit of, I guess, creativity on the part of
Sure.
the local leaders
Sure.
to go into that kind of a thing. Because
Right.
once you start talking to the market vendors about redeveloping the market, immediately it becomes a sensitive topic because they don't want to lose the space that they already have.
Sure.
But very often also you get into the problem of corruption,
Right.
because public markets are notorious for having tenants
Sure.
who are not present in the place.
Yeah, and I guess that's where digital applications will help.
That's right.
Sir Dinky, we'll have to take another quick break. Please stay tuned. You're watching Business and Politics. We're talking to Dinky von Einsiedelel, a smart city expert.